My name is Brad Sutton. My role as Technical Director of the Biomedical Imaging Center at Beckman Institute is to help researchers figure out what they can measure, how they can measure it, and determine what they need to do in order to extract information to answer their scientific question of interest. And so I'm often helping them on the imaging side set up exactly how to run the experiments, what type of data to collect, but also helping them on the post-processing side. We have a couple of projects where computational power and the processing time is a critical bottleneck, and it can take 400 nodes, 4 hours in order to take one data set from one single subject and produce a mechanical property map. And it requires about 30 hours to break the brain up into pieces, and about 30 hours then to figure out what the connections are between the different pieces in the brain. And that would be for every subject, and we have 100 subjects. A lot of our investigators have a few computers in their lab, and then they may have access to a cluster. And there we can set up analysis streams, we can test out a few things on a few subjects. But when it comes time to run the big job, especially if you have, as in the case that we used Amazon Cloud for, we had 230 subjects run twice. So we had 460 data sets. That goes beyond what any of the labs would be able to process in a reasonable amount of time. So I think one of the surprising things was that it was so cheap to get all this data processed. We had 460 subjects that ran for 30 hours apiece across machines all at the same time, and it cost around $3,500 to get all that run. In comparison, most of the labs are purchasing a single workstation for the lab that costs about the same price. So that single workstation, it would take many years in order to process that data. So it turns out it's a really economical way to go, and if I had a single workstation, I have to wait that time. Whereas with Amazon, I can go as fast as I want. I can get it done in 3 days or even quicker. This is enabling us to process information in lots of different ways, lots of different parameters to look at. We can really start to understand, how do these methods work? What are they reflecting in the data? Whereas before, we were just hoping to extract the piece of information that we were interested in. I think people are attracted to University of Illinois for the computational resources, for the community. There's a lot of these things. I think this Amazon interaction is something that may not be exactly unique to Illinois, but I think having people in place to make the connections, to make it easy to use, that's unique to Illinois.